So you're coming to Thailand. Fantastic choice. Sawadee ka. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Melissa Madison. I'm an actor and a filmmaker and a recent grad. I took 12 years and 87 cents to graduate last year. And as a gift to myself for graduation, I took myself to Thailand. I was supposed to be there for a couple years, but it got truncated down to 7 months. So that makes it 1 month per every year that I was there. Currently back in the United States. So my video today is for anyone thinking about just visiting or moving here. Since YouTube is a global platform, I'm gonna preface this by saying that my video today is through the lens of an American solo traveler and person of color. So I'm gonna share with you my do's, don'ts, recommendations, where I missed a beat, where I messed up, and I'm also gonna share my experiences. I'm also gonna show you the hardest part about coming to Thailand and how to remedy that. Even if you're a type A personality, that does not supersede being human and being subject to error. The world is big enough that you don't have to make all the mistakes by yourself, especially 10,000 kilometers away from home. So grab a pen and paper and let's get into it. The first thing that you want to do before you leave Thailand, maybe even a couple of days before you leave, is to call your banks and let them know that you're coming here. The last thing you want to do is put your card in an ATM, be 10,000 kilometers away from home, and it sucks it up because it thinks it's fraud. I would also suggest that if you have another device like an iPad or your laptop or maybe even a second phone, download your apps on that device too, just in case you lose your phone or anything like that. You have a backup to log into your banks. I also recommend that if you're from the United States and you're moving here and you're going to be here for a while, put a freeze on your credit report. There's a lot of foolishness going on and you just never know who's watching. If you're looking for travel insurance, which you need to show proof of applying for your visa to come, I recommend Safety Wing. This is not a paid advertisement. It's just one that, you know, when I was doing my research, this was one of the companies that always popped up and is, you know, a trusted source. You definitely need a virtual private network, a VPN, not just for banking, but for other things, and I'll get into that in just a second. If you're visiting, I highly recommend that you don't pack your suitcase to capacity because you're going to be buying a whole lot of stuff here. I strongly discourage you from wiring anybody money while you're looking to secure your new home, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a condo that you want to purchase. HipFlat is a website that you can look into. Fazwaz is another one. DD Properties. And believe it or not, Facebook Marketplace is an excellent resource. You want to rent your Airbnb maybe for like a week or two while you hunt, you know, the location, the area. You do not want to wire any money. I promise you, Thailand is one place on this planet you will not run out of dope places. So even if you find something and you have to move out like a week sooner or whatever, the cost is de minimis. So you won't really lose that much. Hey, you're going on the other side of the globe. You might be alone, traveling alone. You might be by yourself. You might be a solo traveler like me, and you might want to build community. And Facebook groups is a really powerful resource in that regard because there are other people that are doing what you're doing. And, you know, you might want to look into, if you're coming to Thailand, you know, if there's other people of color, if there's other people that are doing photography, if there's other people that, you know, have similar interests, Facebook is a great resource as well. And lastly, you want to leave the big United States energy home. I am here, bitches. I am rich and I've come to spend my money. Sit your ass down. Seriously, it's easy. And I say this with an actor's hat on. It's easy to feel like you're the main character when you're abroad, right? But you have to remember that you're living in someone else's home. It's not a TV set built for you. Yeah, okay, your dollar stretches further. They get that, we get that. But it doesn't give you power over other people's labor, space, or culture. So leave the big United States energy at home. Speaking of United States energy, one of my friends works for the government, and they had put me in touch with the embassy over in Thailand, and on a three-way call en route to the airport that night I was leaving. And, you know, it was a great conversation. It was about 15 minutes, and the person was like, if you so much as to think there's a problem, you call me. Cell phone and everything. And, you know, I told the person, you know, I assured them, listen, you know, I travel, I does this, you know, I'm not in the way. I don't start stuff. I don't bother. That person said, did you hear what I said? So you ain't gonna say hi back though? So now you're here. You're at Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok, and you either have some money on you or you need to go to the ATM to withdraw some money. So one quick cautionary tale, you definitely want to make sure that, I think here in the States, when they when you go and extract money from the ATM machine, they give you your card back first and then the money, so you won't forget it. In Thailand, the ATMs that I've used there, I almost took a L. Like, you got to pay attention. They give you the money and then you have to wait for your card. So don't forget to get your card. But if you do use the ATM, right after that, I think you want to exchange that, and then they're going to give you Thai baht, which is their money. Try to see if you can exchange like a couple of the $1,000 bills, because the last thing you want to do is go to, you know, somewhere out in the village, or you go to a fruit stand and you know, you buy a mango or something, you give them $1,000, that's going to like jam them up a little bit. So small bills are strongly encouraged. Also, each and every time, whether you're visiting, whether you're living there, you're going to need your passport every single time that you go to exchange your USD for Thai baht. Now it's time to get your SIM card. You definitely need a SIM card. There are several carriers there. I particularly have used AIS, and that's just who I used ever since I did my research. Once your SIM card is uploaded, now you need your apps. There are several apps that you're definitely going to need to make life a lot easier in Thailand. While Bolt and Grab are popular ride-hailing apps, Grab offers food delivery like takeout or things at the supermarket, things of that nature. And then Bolt you can just use for your transportation. You can set it on your credit card inside the app at the very bottom, or you can set it to cash and then always pay in cash. Another app that you need is Lazada. Lazada is like America's Amazon. And it's not just in Thailand. It can be used in most parts of Southeast Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, where else? The Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. And my favorite, WhatsApp. Anybody tell me why we use WhatsApp in the United States? And you're from the United States? Never mind. It can be used internationally without extra charges from the WhatsApp app itself, as it relies on the internet connections. Just check, you know, the data charges from your mobile provider, because it may apply when you're using mobile data abroad for visitors, right? So to avoid roaming charges, whether it's visiting or living in Thailand, consider using the Wi-Fi or purchasing a local SIM card for more cost-effective connectivity. Another app in Thailand you want is Line. It's a separate on-demand service offering food delivery, grocery delivery, courier services, and so much more. Line Man is a spin-off of the Line app, but operates as its own entity, just FYI. You definitely want Wise. It's formerly known as TransferWise, which is a popular choice for international money transfers. It's definitely known for its low transparent fees and mid-market exchange rates, so you definitely want to look into that for paying rent and things of that nature. The two biggest things that you're going to need in Thailand, and probably all of Southeast Asia. So the night I got to Bangkok, my journey, even still after 28 hours in the air, I wasn't done. I still needed to get to Pattaya, which is another 2 hours. And because I had gotten there at midnight, I wasn't doing it. I got a hotel room and I was just, you know, going to stretch this thing out. But I noticed that I needed to call my Bolt driver, which is on the app, which is on your phone. And my phone was 1% battery. It had 1% battery life on it. The Western plugs don't fit in the Eastern walls. So make sure you get your adapter so you're able to charge your phone. Even if you have a brick or your laptop, those still need to be charged. So you're definitely going to need that. Additionally, you're going to need some sort of translation app. I use Google Translate, which was sufficient. But you're definitely going to need that. Even if it has nothing to do with Thailand, you're still going to need it, because you'd be surprised at how many expats are out there that don't speak English. So let a fully charged cell phone and a translation app be your best friend. This is Asia. Some governments in Southeast Asia sometimes block television platforms for a plethora of reasons, primarily related to content deemed inappropriate or that are conflicting with national laws or cultural values. So I recommend that you get that VPN I told you about a little earlier. So it works for your apps or your Fire Stick. You can use the VPN to bypass the geo restrictions and access. Hulu doesn't work out there. I don't know if you, for the United States, if you have Hulu or not, but Hulu does not work, and it will only work if you have your VPN. Netflix operates in Thailand and offers unique content libraries specific to the region, similar to other countries like South Africa. I think they have their own 2 words available. As of June 28th, several crypto exchange websites and apps, including Bybit and OKX, are inaccessible in Thailand due to regulatory issues. So you definitely want to make sure that you grab yourself a VPN before you come. If you're moving here, I recommend that you just sell everything before you come out. A small couch, 35 days at sea, it's about $7,000, and then you have the 7% VAT tax. Yeah, so I'll leave that to your discretion. I'll put a link down in the description for, you can peruse the website. Ladies, load up on your hair products before you get here. Do's and don'ts. I don't know if you're into this type of thing or not, or if it'll have any impact on if you come out here or not. But Thailand, if you're into recreational marijuana, they just reversed their law. Thailand was one of the first countries in Southeast Asia or Asia, I think, to legalize marijuana. They just reversed it last week. Recreational weed is not a thing anymore unless you have a prescription. So if you're caught smoking it or anything like that, they're going to give you hefty fines and you're going to jail. In various parts of the world, edible insects like crickets, mealworms, scorpions are appreciated actually for their protein content and are celebrated in local gastronomic traditions, reflecting both sustainability and culinary heritage. So if you see people eating bugs, don't bug out. As a world traveler throughout the years, I have noticed people stare at me. In Thailand, they stare. People will stare. And I just think it's a cultural thing. So don't let it freak you out or think that somebody's thinking bad about you or anything. It's just I think it's a cultural thing. And it's funny because there's this one, and women from the United States, what you looking at? Why you staring? You know how we get. So there was this woman down at the bottom of the beach, and every time I would, see her walking, she would always like give me that, that quick once over, like. I was like, who did it, boo? Who messed with you today? What's going on? It's a cultural thing, so I just want to make you privy to that and not be so defensive. The why. It's a gesture of respect and a greeting and is deeply ingrained in the Thai culture. And it's pretty much used in various social ways. It's to greet, to show respect, express gratitude, and also to apologize. I strongly discourage anybody going over there and talking politics. Keep the royal family and the king's name out of your mouth, whether you disagree or not. People have done it here in the United States. I was in an Uber not too long ago, and this guy from this particular country, he, went on and on about Trump, and then, the Obama wouldn't have done that. Bruh, get your money, take it back to your family, and mind your business. You're out of your place. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. To my social media influencers, Thailand has very strict defamation laws. I put the link in the description. You should read that. Be mindful of what you post, what you say, and also to piggyback on that, to video responsibly. I have caught myself in a video that I posted at the Big Buddha, and I was trying to video I think it was a Buddha in the water, and there were like these really pretty flowers, and I caught it on camera, but there were people praying in the background. So just be mindful and be aware of that. Thai people don't really like confrontation. You know, they won't say no. They'll say, oh, maybe later, or, you know, I'll think about it. Just read the room and, you know, don't press it if they say no. Don't be that guy that's tolerated. Be celebrated. The tipping myth. Some tipping policies in certain countries are actually discouraged or even seen as offensive. South Korea is one. Tipping is not customary and really can be considered as inappropriate in a lot of settings. Singapore is another one. Tipping is rare and can be mistaken for bribery. Japan, outright disrespectful. But in Thailand, tipping is, I would encourage it. It's not mandatory, and, you know, it's not a part of the culture for many locals, but I encourage it. Even a small tip, you know, it's always appreciated, especially for good service. And this is a service-oriented country. And I'm really big on that, and I'm a huge advocate for that. So just keep that in mind. And the same for Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and the neighboring countries. I gotta put y'all on something though. Let's talk about this racism thing for a quick second. Like, I don't throw the word racism around. You know what I mean? I've never personally dealt with it in the United States overtly. And, you know, there are people of color leaving the United States right now in droves so as not to succumb to the manacles of segregation or racism. And I'm not just talking about race. I'm talking about other things. Your political affiliation, your, you know, biology, you know, if you're in the LGBTQI plus community and you've been married and, you know, people are leaving. So I've seen a couple videos on TikTok and Instagram circulating these, you know, guys beating each other's brains out, just drunk, stumbling, just doing the most, all extra on camera and stuff in Thailand. And there is this one nation out in Thailand, this one group of people. They are not nice. They ain't it. Like, I'm not going to say who they are because I'm not a shit starter, but they're just not nice. Their kids are bad. The level of entitlement that I've witnessed from them is astounding. You know, I was getting a massage one night right across the street from my condo, and this same group came in. He and his boy came in, his friend. They got the highest thing on the menu, which was an oil massage, the most expensive thing on there, and they didn't pay her, and I thought that was grotesque, because he was drunk, and it was just sad. And then like a couple days later, same group of people were actually arguing with one of the Thai people about dual pricing. Dual pricing is when the Thai people are charged less than what a foreigner would be charged, for obvious reasons. But even aside from that, that's their laws. That's how they do things. You don't like it, go somewhere else. But the unmitigated gall to part your lips. Have I personally dealt with racism in Thailand? Yeah. And low-key bullying in my building. But let me be perfectly clear, it was not the Thai people. It's this group of people that I'm talking about. The men. And I'm the only black girl in my building. And it would be every time that I was going outside to take Sophie and I was by myself, he would not, off his balcony, he would not say anything to me if I was with, you know, other people. It was when I was by myself. And one day, I was literally on my way back outside to take Sophie, and it was really, really hot out. And I was just, you know, she was playing with her ball over there, and I had stuck my I had stuck my foot in the swimming pool. And he yelled off the balcony, don't put your dirty feet in the pool. Immediate. Now, what does that sound like? What in the Dorothy Dandridge putting your toe in the pool and having to drain it in 1953 is going on? That's the first thing I thought about. The first thing. So now you're just trying to bully me, which will never work because I fear no man. But now at least I know how to move with you. So one day I'm home and I get a knock at the door. And immediately I'm like, who is this? Even I only have one neighbor that I'm cool with. And we don't knock on each other's door. You know, we'll shoot a text. Hey, are you home? You know, then either I go over or he comes over or whatever. So I open up the door and it's the juristic office, which is the management office downstairs. And he's like, well, hi, Miss Melissa. You know, I'm so sorry to bother you. We're having complaints about smell of marijuana, and we're just trying to figure out which apartment it's coming from. I knew who it was. It was my neighbors that I was just talking about. He and his boyfriend, they stayed over there getting tooted and booted, you know, smoking all. That's what they do. But I'm not a snitch. Doesn't bother me. I mind my business, and we keep it moving. So I was like, yeah, I smell it all. I've smelled it before, but, you know, I can't tell you who it is. So they leave. And 2 hours later, they come and knock on the door again. This time, it's with this particular group of people that I'm talking about. He had just moved across the hall. And he's at the door with them. And he's literally, I'm not gonna do the accent, but he's pointing his finger like literally over their shoulders. You're the one that's smoking marijuana. I'm trying to figure out if this is where I was supposed to call the United States Embassy. This is why I said have them on speed dial. But yeah, again, it was not the Thai people. As a matter of fact, when you're in Thailand, you're not black. You're not African American. You're American. I am very happy to report, though, that this neighbor and I had a very nice conversation about that day my foot was in the pool when we accidentally bumped into each other down the street off the premises, where I was able to tell him how I felt, as only somebody from the city of brotherly love knows how to do. Safety and safety as a solo traveler. You know, when I was on my eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what country do I want to go-ish, safety was certainly at the top of my list. And I had come across a couple stories, especially this one brother from the United States. I think he had left his camera at the train station. And he went back down there, and sure enough, his camera was there. But I saw it for myself. I'm at the beach for hours. I take my I park my bike off to the side, and there are two bikes that were there, and they had their designer luggage on there, and I came back several hours later and it was still there. And I was just like, damn. So that was another, you know, key factor in me making, you know, thinking that I had made the right decision to come to Thailand. So I'm glad I did that. There are several visas, and there's something for everybody. You know, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to talk about the DTV Visa, which is the Destination Thailand Visa for expats. And then I'm going to put the link in the description for the other one. For the DTV Visa, you need to at least be 20 years old, have a valid passport, demonstrate financial stability, at least 500,000 Thai baht, and proof of remote work or other eligible activity. Specific requirements also can slightly depend on the applicant's nationality and the embassy or consulate where you apply. Traveling with your pets. Yeah, I'm going to need your undivided attention, pen and pad on hand. I'm going to leave the link in the description for this because this is absolutely, unequivocally nerve-wracking. So I can only speak for someone that has traveled with a small dog in the cabin on the flight. You know, bringing a small dog to Thailand from the United States requires careful planning and adherence, you know, to specific regulations. Now, you're going to need to obtain an import permit from Thailand's Department of Livestock Development. You're going to need to ensure that your dog is microchipped before leaving and vaccinated, especially for rabies. Thailand is a high-risk country for rabies. So you're going to need the official health certificate that is endorsed by the USDA. To bring your pet to Thailand from the United States, and only the United States that I'm speaking about, you're going to need to ensure that they have the rabies vaccine and their other core vaccines at least 21 days before travel. Okay? And it must be, and then the health certificate, which is endorsed by the USDA, must be obtained within 10 days of departure. I got my certificate by FedEx one day before leaving. They're going to call to verify the measurements on the phone. When you get to the airport, there's going to be someone there to meet you. Somebody met me there, had my name up in the thing, was like, you come with us. They're gonna weigh your dog, take the dog out of the pet carrier. They're gonna weigh them. They're gonna comb through the paperwork, and it better be right. I stayed away from shopping for the cute little bags. You know, your airline. I chose a Sherpa bag because it was airline accredited. It wasn't necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing, but you know, as it relates to having mesh, the pet needs to be able to stand up, you know, turn around. You can't open the bag on the plane. They're very, very specific. Coming back to the United States, you need to have, because I think it was over 6 months that I was in Thailand, I needed the export certificate before I boarded the flight, and I didn't, for somehow, some way, I missed the beat, and they will not let you board without it. Just ask me how I know, because they didn't let me board, and I ended up staying. I had a wonderful, beautiful night in the Suvarnabhumi airport at Bangkok because nobody was calling me back for an Airbnb that would take a dog, a hotel, nothing. So me and Sophie, we rocked out overnight. Then I think at one point, the person that was calling to verify the measurements and all this other stuff, they were like, oh, but Miss Melissa, she can't go because she went to the Philippines. I was like, what are you talking about? She never went to the Philippines. Talking about my dog. And she was like, but your thing is PHL. PHL, they got it misconstrued. They thought PHL was the Philippines airport. It's Philadelphia International Airport. Link is in the description. On another note, the dog food in Thailand is incredible. I typically cook for Sophie, but you know, in the interim of not being able to, or it was just like, you know, a quick 1, 2, 3 I needed to do, they have some really good food that I think your dog will enjoy. So when's the best time to come to Thailand? It's always a good time to come to Thailand. But I must say, Thailand is hot. One clear coat of nail polish feels like you got a fur coat on. It's hot here. If I'm burning up and live on the beach, what are they going through inland? Anyway, it's hot. It's real hot. The interesting things. A bidet, anyone? Anyone? A bidet? So one of the interesting things that I found when I came to Thailand was to see eggs on the shelf. Egg is this? This color. That's pretty. What is this? Okay. And this, all right. Like in the United States, we put our eggs in the refrigerator, and they're like chilling. In Thailand, they're like chilling on the shelf next to the paper plates. Next to the paper plates is suntan oil. But in many parts of the world, including the United States, eggs are washed, right? Which removes the protective layer called the cuticle. That helps prevent the bacteria from entering the egg. So in Thailand, eggs are generally not washed, so the cuticle remains, providing a natural barrier against bacteria. I don't know about you, but I like to watch TV in other languages when I'm abroad. especially the commercials, not necessarily just for background noise, but to, to look at it with a different eye. It's just a little personal thing. So I've noticed that there are commercials out here in every other language, which is pretty cool. To my beef eaters, I don't eat beef. I pretty much make it for my dog. But for those that eat beef, Australian beef, particularly grass-fed beef, is highly regarded globally for its quality and flavor. 80% of the beef in Thailand is imported from Australia. So if you're unaware, I'm letting you know that you're in for a treat. By the way, watching commercials in Thailand, not one pharmaceutical commercial. The time zone. It's an Indochina time zone, which is an 11-hour difference to that of the United States, and they don't recognize daylight saving time. So when it is daylight savings time in the United States, it's a 12-hour time difference. Whew. One interesting fact that so the real estate lady came to give me my paperwork or whatever, and we're sitting in the lobby, and I'm noticing that the date was like September, whatever date it was, and it didn't say 2024. It said 2567, that Thailand has never been colonized before, right? So while the United States and most of the Western world uses the Gregorian calendar, Thailand primarily uses the Buddhist era calendar, which is 543 years ahead. I got questions. Thailand has something for everybody. You can get rent from $200 all the way up to $10,000 a month. You can, ride a bike. You can ride the bot bus. You can drive a car. You can walk. You can be in traffic. You can go pray with the Buddhist monks, or you can go down to Soy 6 and rock out with the ladyboys. By the way, ladyboys is not a derogatory term. That's what they refer to themselves as. In addition to some other things. Employment. Jobs are reserved for the Thai people. Like, you can't just roll up in a mall and just go apply for a sales position, right? However, there are exceptions, of course, to every rule. The United States citizens can work in Thailand, but it requires obtaining both a Thai work visa and a work permit. A lot of people teach English out here, so definitely teaching English is one. There are jobs in tourism and hospitality. Additionally, there are roles in international schools, IT recruitment, and other high-level management. If you plan on driving or riding motorcycles, you're going to need an IDP, which is an international driver's permit. You can obtain one at AAA. I did before I came. And it makes it much more easier for the process when you come out. You just show your IDP and you can rent a car or a bike. In Thailand, they drive on the left side of the road. So remember, Thai people don't drive, unquote, the wrong side of the road. They could say the same thing about us in our home country, right? It's all relative. I got pulled over, y'all. Yes, no helmet. I know. Blemish on my soul. Yeah, for some reason, it would have helped if the motorcycle or the bike place would have told me, listen, you got to have a helmet out here. It was just like, I'm looking around. I see some people with helmets. I see other people not having helmets. And coming out of Philadelphia, back in the States, we're not required to wear a helmet. The passengers are, but the driver doesn't. So I ride bikes all the time, and I'm like, okay, so my bad. Sorry. If you do get pulled over and you're fined, it's 500 Thai baht. So yeah, have your helmet, have your IDP on you too. The most painful part about coming to Thailand is the 23-hour flight. But I can help you resolve that. Here's how you do it. I left from Philadelphia, went to Atlanta to Seoul, South Korea, and then South Korea to Bangkok. Here's how you do this. The best way to combat this is if you visit each city while your luggage is en route. You do an extended layover, and then you go and explore the country. Breaks up the monotony, you have something to do, you gain another flag on your passport, get some gifts, Make it do what it do. Make it work for you. I've lived in Thailand and I'll continue to until I change my mind. I filmed in Thailand, eating my whole body weight in Thailand. I prayed in Thailand. I'll be back in Thailand. But this place, it's not mine. It's not even yours. Even if you own your own home there, tip with heart, ask for permission, not just for forgiveness. Don't just come here because the cost of living is doable. Because if you do, that's all it'll be for you. Come with an open mind, an open heart. Come to learn, come to listen, come to connect. Not just what's Instagrammable, right? No country is perfect. Don't go looking for utopia. Living abroad is a beautiful and humbling experience. Learn a little of the language, make friends, eat the food, even if you can't pronounce it. Rest easy knowing that if you don't like it, go home. You can always go home. I bring that global mindset into my everyday life, connection and creativity wherever we are. You're across the globe, somewhere you've never been, so give grace. Be patient with them. Be patient with yourselves. Let this experience also show you how big the world is outside of your own home country. Yeah, all of the aforementioned links are in the description below. If you have any questions that I perhaps may have not covered, please email me. Let me see if I can get them answered for you. If content like this helps you, hit the like and subscribe button. I got you covered on my next trip. Catch you on the next video.